Good morning. It's a Friday. At least it is where I am. I guess it would be where you are too. Welcome. We are finishing chapter 7 today. That's right. You are. You are. I am. We are finishing chapter 7. And one of the things that we're going to finish with is I'm going to give you a description of several different polygons. And your job is to find several key properties and decide what's the best name for the polygon you were given. I could give you 3 or 4 equations of lines and ask you, hey, what's the polygon where these lines intersect? I could give you some coordinates like I have here and say, hey, what is that? Is there anything special about it? I might ask you to figure out the lengths of some of the sides, maybe the perimeter. So that's what's happening. My assumption is that you did complete the assignment from 7 to 1. In that assignment, you should have come up with your description. Maybe it was you and a team of other students' description of some basic polygons. And for the most part, there's a lot of good things here. A couple little interesting things that might be missing, like, for example, a regular pentagon. Yeah, all the angles are the same measure, all the sides are the same length, but then it doesn't mention that there's 5 sides. Not a big deal, but it's a thing. It's a thing I'm curious about. So we are going to look at an example together, just one. Let me flip to this. So let's go back to these points. I have no idea what that is, and looking at those points for a long time is not going to give me a good idea of what I'm looking at. So probably I want to get to a place where I can graph this accurately. So let's plot these points. So the first point I've got here is 1, 6. There's a point. Except I need a pen. There's a point. That's the point 1 comma 6. I might write down that coordinate 1, 6. Another point I have is 4, 2. So x is 4, and then I go up 2. Oh, maybe some of you are seeing this for the first time. You've never plotted points before. 12, 8. Here's 12. I'm going to go up and plot 8. Really? 12, 8? That does not look like I'm hitting the right spot there. 12, 8. Okay. 12, 8. 12, comma 8. And the last point I have here is 9, comma 12. So 9. And then I have to go up and hit the 12. Okay. So just looking at this, it appears to be a quadrilateral. Okay, so I grabbed the ruler there and I went ahead and drew those lines that connected those. And I would say it certainly looks like a rectangle, right? So it's a quadrilateral, could be a parallelogram, could be a special parallelogram called a rectangle. Let's look at a couple of the properties here. So the first thing is what's the slope of this line? Well, from this line I go down 1, 2, 3, 4 units, and I go over 1, 2, 3. So this is negative 4/3 for my slope. Up here I also go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go over 1, 2, 3. So this is also negative 4/3. So I know it could be a trapezoid, right? Because those two sides are parallel to each other. If the other sides are not parallel also, it would be a trapezoid. Um, let's look at the slope of these other sides. So this one, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's up 6 over 8, which is the same as 3/4. Okay, so because this slope is opposite reciprocal of this one and this one, I know that these two angles are right angles. So I've got 2 right angles. And it turns out that this one, let's see, what is it? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's also 6/8 or 3/4. So that means that these are also right angles. So I have a quadrilateral with 4 right angles. Um, Opposite sides are parallel, and clearly visually I can see that the sides are not the same length. This one particular side, this was a 3 and a 4, so this side right here, if I call this side, I'll just call it X, I would know that because this was 4 and this was 3, I could say 4 squared plus 3 squared would be X squared. This is 16 and 9, which is 25. So that side squared is 25. That means the length of that side would have to be 5 units. So I know that this side is 5 units long. This side is 5 units long. So my opposite sides are parallel. My opposite sides are congruent. Yeah, this is a rectangle. I could go one more step. If I did this, this was 6 and this was 8. So let's consider that. If I let's call this I'll call this H. This side 8. Oh, for hypotenuse, that's what I'm doing. So I could say 6 squared plus 8 squared is H squared. This is 36 and 64, which is 100. That's what H squared is. Therefore, this little side is 100. So we've got 100, we have 100. All right, so what is this? This thing is it's a rectangle, right? I can see that it's a rectangle. I could tell you what the perimeter is. The perimeter is those are not 100. The square root of h is 10. These are 10 units long. My goodness, that's ridiculous. The perimeter of that's 10, 20, 30. Perimeter is 30. I could tell you the area too. The area is 5 times 10. The area is 50 square units. So we're done. So that's what we're looking for here. Given the descriptions that you have, what's the best possible name you can give each of these shapes? Now, there's nothing that's going to prevent you from using GeoGebra or Desmos. And if you do that, that's fine. But I would kind of encourage you to do this on paper and pencil, just because you're gonna face a few questions like this where you're not gonna have necessarily access to Desmos. So maybe today kind of limit your use of those tools and just restrict yourself to some graph paper. But for each of the problems assigned for class time, go ahead and give me the best possible description. And I am going to have you upload an image of just those problems. So not all of your review preview ones, but just upload an image of your conclusions for the problems that I'm assigning. Okay, so these are the problems that you're going to do. You're just going to do 105 questions A, B, and C. And you have here the description of 3 different quadrilaterals, and you're asked to give the best description of that quadrilateral. What is it, and how how is it going to be made? All right, and again, once you have A, B, and C completed, and you can tell me, I don't think they asked for. Let me read this. Did they ask for the perimeter? But nowadays, your uncle says customers using computers have been emailing orders with lots of different specifications. Your uncle needs your team to help analyze the most recent orders listed below and identify the quadrilaterals, and help the shape makers know what to produce. Okay, so I'm really not asking for the perimeter. But you definitely should be looking at side lengths, especially if you're going to make a conjecture like, hey, that's a square. You would have to know what all the sides are. If you're going to say it's an equilateral triangle, you need to know the length of those 3 sides to make sure it really is. Oh, although none of these are triangles, but you get the idea. All right, and then just go ahead and upload an image of your completed work for this assignment, and I will see you later.